and welcome back to Study with me. Today we are going to see do unethical behavior actually happens in the education system and what are those? Unfortunately, yes, we do have unethical behavior taking place in the education system, and that's why the Universal Declaration of Human Rights under Article 26 tells that everyone has the right to education. It should be free in both the elementary and the fundamental stages. Elementary education it should be made compulsory, whereas once they move to the higher education, they can choose between technical and professional education based on the accessibility and basis of their merit. But who can choose the education system for us and why we need to choose education? Education is the basic thing that every human needs to have. It builds the strong foundation on principles, values, and ethics. As a child, who can choose the education system for us? Obviously, it's a parent's duty to choose the best education for their student, for their ward. So it is said it is universal and every country should invest in the child's education. Why should a country invest in child's education? A country should invest in child's education because the children are the future of tomorrow. And if you have a country that is built with educated people, they will be dynamic, they will be more vibrant and innovative, which will contribute towards the country's development. According to OECD, this is an important organization of economic cooperation development. What does it tell? An educated country, it has if a country has an educated people, then their life expectancy, because they want to achieve, so they start concentrating on their health. So this will also decrease in the crime, and there is a greater independence in the state welfare system. What does his Highness Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan talk about the education system? He tells, without morals, good conduct, and learning, a nation will fail in building their coming generations and in performing their duties. Civilization is the product of learning. High values, courage, and roots deepened in the past with branches up to the present and future. So, how well he has described. He tells, see, education is not just of marks, it's something more that deeply imbibes one's value system, the conduct, the behavior, and it makes that's why they tell an educated person is a civilized person. Civilization here tells like how they know how to behave, how to interact with the people, and how to be grounded, take in the value system of the past and use it to build up a better future. So, one question that you need to ponder here is why do you think poor countries tend to have lower level of literacy? The answer for this you have in the upcoming topics that we are going to deal. Nature of education system, education, as we told, is something fundamental. Everyone should be given education, basic fundamental elementary education. But do you think it's so easy to do? Not at all. Education is expensive. If a country has to provide education for children between 4 to 18, then it is an expensive concept which a country has to take in. If the country tells we are going to educate the children more to the university level, then it becomes still more expensive for the country. So, how can a country take in the education system? Because we cannot tell that we are not going to provide education, or we cannot compromise on children's education as they are the nation builders of tomorrow. So, how can they actually take in the money? The country has to take cost on themselves. How can a country take in the money for our education, for our children's education? It is the through the revenues that it gets through tax and other natural resources. So, what are the types of corruption that takes place in education? There is a lot of fake qualification certificates that are being issued over the country, across the country. Now, if you see a person who goes for a medical treatment and say an anesthetician is someone who is going to give him the treatment, so what do? They actually depend upon him. If he gives a high dosage, a person can have a fatter medical reactions to it. So we cannot afford to have people in our country who have these fake um, qualifications and certificates. According to the BPC report, he tells that some medical professions they are buying fake qualifications, and this is a real sad news for the country. A BBC report has also stated that in 2015, a company named Exact, which is based in Pakistan, has sold in excess of 215,000 fake qualifications, generating 37 million euro, which is approximately 189 million UAE dirhams. So this is something very sad, and this company is not a small one. If you see in their website, it tells that it is one of the top company that is operating across 6 continents, 120 countries, and 1,300 cities. So do you think it's something that you and I will not come into a trap of this? It's a very sad scenario, and yes, it tells us to be more cautious in the future building. What should education actually be? Education should be a joyous place where you and I, as educator and students, need to enjoy the process of learning, celebrate your hard work, be honest, and work with integrity. So, where does corruption take place in education system? Education system has the assessment where the validity of these assessment it should be reliable. There should not be any cheating that is being taking place. The assessment system, the education working, it should be confidentiality. They should be reliable, and the standard of education system needs to be maintained according to the national education system. There should not be any cheating in the examination. The resources and equipment should be provided to the students and teachers. There should not be any ghost schools and ghost teachers. Ghost schools and ghost teachers is a very sad scenario where, according to the government books, they tell that this particular school is being registered and these are the number of teachers who work in the school. But in reality, if you go and visit these schools, there is a structure where it is named as an education system, but there is no teachers, no students working there. So this ghost school and ghost teachers principle, it needs to be abolished. It is mostly found in the backward communities, so the government should take in proper checks, and yes, they do are taking for it. Charges for education is higher. So when we go for higher education system where the charges, the cost of education becomes high, then it becomes inaccessible to the lower and the middle community. So that needs to be like normalized. Fake admissions and plagiarism. Fake admissions, like they tell you are being admitted, and then when you go to the institution after paying the amount, they tell no, you are not being admitted, you are being like there is bogus application which is being given. So this was a short review of education system. Do not forget to smash the subscribe button if you think I have helped you in learning, and happy learning.